So the Sony Xperia I Mark V is actually better than I thought. So I've been testing it out, but the thing is I've been testing this out kind of in a vacuum. I look at the GSM Arena update, see what the spec sheet is and things like that, and I've been using it on my own, but there are so many little intricacies and updates on this thing that, well, I just found out about some of them. So for starters, what I was looking at online was it said that there was actually, it was 4K 30 on the front facing camera, but apparently it's 4K 60, which is fantastic. And I was actually kind of disappointed in that. And I actually made comment about that in a previous video. That's actually inaccurate. So apparently it's 4K 60 on the front facing selfie camera, which is fantastic because that brings it in line with the iPhones, that brings it in line with the Samsung phones. Basically, most of the major phones that are out there in this price category, $1,000 flagship, are doing 4K 60. Well, other than our good friend the OnePlus 11, but we won't give him too much heartache over that because it is a $600 phone, $699. Well, so for front-facing selfie camera, we got video 4K 60. They upgraded the speakers. So I thought they sounded a little bit better. I thought maybe it might just been some tuning, but no, they actually changed the speakers out. The speakers are better, the volume is better, the actual clarity is better. And I hadn't really talked about that much previously, but the speakers, and they're also front-facing. That's one of the great things with the Sony phones. If you take a look at them, they are front-facing speakers, and you can see the little grills. This is the Xperia I Mark IV, so that gives you that nice front-facing sound experience. So it's all right here. You get to enjoy all of it, and it's better improved speakers. So that's another thing. Also, we have pass-through charging. And so that's really important when it comes to gaming. And a lot of folks look at this phone and go, okay, this is a creator phone. This is for content creation. This is for shooting video. This is for making really good like photography and stuff like that. It's also one of the best gaming phones you can get. And the Xperia I Mark IV really did a number with that. Of course, they've got their Sony attachment that you can plug onto. It's got an apparatus. It's even got a LAN cable, all sorts of stuff, which should work with this because the form factor is basically the same. Well, you have pass-through charging. So that means you don't have to worry about heat. Heat was a huge issue on the Xperia I Mark IV, especially when you were gaming. Like, it never shut off on me, but it got crazy hot, like unsafely hot. And, well, you have pass-through charging on here. So all you have to do is just plug it in while you're playing, and it charges, it draws the current straight from the power source instead of it bypasses the battery, so you don't have to worry about the heat. So that's also a nice thing. Of course, we talked about the textured glass with the Gorilla Glass Victus 2 on the back. There is better video stabilization with the electronic image stabilization. So before, it would do the EIS at 30 frames per second, but now it'll do EIS at 60 frames per second, and then also has enhanced EIS for 30 frames per second. So that's something that's nice also. What's some other things? I'm trying to remember all this. I was watching some other videos trying to get some insight on this. I even asked Sony, I'm like, hey, it seems like there's a lot of stuff that I don't know about this phone. Can y'all send me over like maybe like the press kit or something so I have some idea of what all's changed since the last one? So we also know about the new camera sensor. It's fantastic. And what's nice about it is it actually does a crop. And I mentioned this before. It's a 52 megapixel camera, but effectively it shoots at 48. So if you do video, it does a full 52. But if you do photo, it crops, it does a 48 because it can't use the entire sensor the way that it's made. So it's actually a larger sensor. But what's also nice, I thought that it was taking better pictures. I was taking better shots, and I mentioned that it seemed like they did a light touch of some computational photography, but it really does seem like they actually did that. So they've actually added some computational photography in here. They have night mode. Yes, so you can actually do night mode now. That's not something that's been available before, really. So you have night mode where it will actually apply some of that stuff, and it still looks like it comes from a real phone, like a Sony camera, though. It's not like what we talk about with other phones where it tries to make nighttime daytime, which I said many times, I don't like that. I don't like all this artificial stuff because it makes it look unrealistic. Like, I'm not going to go out and take a picture and expect it to look like super bright at nighttime. That doesn't make sense. So what it does though is does some thoughtful HDR applications, some thoughtful lens exposure, and absorbs some more light. So in like less than ideal settings, you can get a better shot where you can actually see better. So that's a more realistic application where it's more of what your eyes would absorb and take in as opposed to making it look artificial. And even with this new sensor that it has, the new shot, like some of the shots I've been taking look pretty good. And on top of that, it actually, so it shoots at 48 megapixels and it bends down to 12, a 4-time pixel bend. So you get like the bigger pixels for the image. So that's also nice, especially for digital zooming in and cropping and things like that. And also just captures and puts more detail in it. So all those different things, I haven't talked about those in previous videos, and I've just come to find out just over the last day or two as I was doing some more research on the phone, trying to get everything ready so I could work on my full review. And I was like, wow, there's some really impressive stuff in here that I didn't even know about, and even probably a few more things that I missed that I haven't brought up in here. But overall, oh, one other thing. So I mentioned before, you can use this as a monitor for an external camera. Like you can use it with your Sony camera. You can use it, I think you might can use it with any camera. I'm gonna have to get full clarification on that. But you can live stream directly with this. But you can also use this as a monitor for, I know, for your Sony cameras, and you can actually enable them to go live. So you can live stream with this using your Sony camera, so you can have this popped up on top, using it as a monitor for your camera, and also directly live streaming with your regular camera. Like, how cool is that? Like, that's some really cool next level stuff. So there's a lot of thoughtful stuff in here. And it's funny because I have so many people in the comment section when I made a video saying, like, this is my preferred phone, I like this, it's better for me than the Samsung Galaxy S23 Ultra. There were a lot of people saying it doesn't compare, it doesn't compete, why would anybody buy this? And there's so many things that just using it for a week, you just scratch the surface on all the crazy things that this camera and this phone can do. So I just wanted to share that, just some more thoughtful stuff. I was like, you know what, this deserves some insight, so I can capture this. Of course, by the time I get to my full review in a week, it's going to be like a 30-minute video. So I was like, well, I'll go ahead and make this. I'll talk about these things because I thought it was targeted and cool enough with some of these cool features to show off. There's some really important stuff here, and I think it's a really good phone. So anyway, that's all I got. Going to wrap this one up, not take too much of your time today. But if you have any questions, comments, or I don't know, general amazement, if you find any of these things cool, then please sound off in the comment section. We can discuss it. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like and the subscribe button and the little notification bell if you want updates when new videos come out, which is every single day. And as always, thanks for being here. I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you guys next time.